Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Vibrations and Manifestations. I'm Shelley Carney-Younis, and I'm coming to you today as both a mother and a daughter. This Mother's Day, I'm carrying a mix of feelings in my heart. My mom has been living in full-time care since she had a severe stroke 3 years ago. She's no longer able to care for herself or communicate with us the way she once did. And I live far away. So there are days when the love I feel is tangled up with sorrow, guilt, and a longing I don't always know how to name. But through all of it, I keep turning to the teachings of Abraham Hicks to remind myself that my job is not to fix the past or carry the pain of what I can't change. My job is to find alignment now, to tune in to what's true and loving and clear in this moment. And from that place, I focus on what I can do, to love my mother as she is now, and to show up for my own adult children with presence, joy, and compassion. Today's episode is about the emotional complexity of Mother's Day. We're talking about the love, the gratitude, and yes, the guilt, the obligation, and the ache that can come up when relationships are layered and real. We'll share stories, reflections, and tools inspired by Abraham's teachings to help you approach this Mother's Day from a place of love and alignment, whether you're a mother, a daughter, or someone simply navigating what it means to show up with an open heart. Be sure to stay until the end of the episode, where I'll share an original song we wrote especially for Mother's Day, a love letter from daughter to mother that I hope will speak to your heart. Wherever you are in your journey today, I'm sending you peace, love, and deep appreciation. And now, here's Jared and Alicia.
Hello, Alicia.
Hi, Jared. Welcome, everyone, to Vibrations and Manifestations.
Yeah, welcome. This is where we really dig into how our inner state, our feelings, kind of connect with what happens on the outside.
Exactly.
Mother's Day is coming up,
Yeah.
May 11th, right? And we're airing this on the 8th.
Yeah, just around the corner.
It really got me thinking about moms,
Yeah.
My mom specifically.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was remembering how she used to make this lemon meringue pie.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, she never, used a recipe, or at least I never saw one.
Wow, just winged it.
Totally. And it always came out amazing. It just felt, I don't know, like pure love, like she was just spoiling me rotten with this perfect pie.
That's lovely.
The smell, even now, lemon and that toasty meringue takes me right back. That feeling of being loved.
I get that. For me, it's my mom's birthday breakfasts. Always.
Oh, what did you make?
Waffles. Always waffles with sliced strawberries. And she had this one candle, a bit wobbly, never stood up quite straight.
Yeah.
And she'd stick it right in the middle of the waffle stack. It wasn't fancy, not Pinterest perfect or anything.
But it felt special.
It felt like I was the most important person right then. That feeling, being really seen and cherished, it sticks.
Thinking about Mother's Day, it just brings back memories. My mom, she just had this amazing ability to make small things feel, special.
Ah, that's lovely.
Yeah, she juggled so much, but always made time to listen. What I really admired, I think, was her resilience, just her strength, no matter what.
That really resonates. For me, it's my grandmothers who often come to mind. One, she was magic in the garden, the things she could grow.
Oh.
And looking back, that nurturing just flowed out to everyone. My other grandmother was a teacher, and she had this quiet patience, this belief that everyone had potential. That really stuck with me.
It's amazing how those early influences just, they stay with you, don't they?
They really do. So, okay, Mother's Day. The emotional landscape, it's definitely not always sunshine and roses like the ads show.
Not at all. Can stir up a whole spectrum of feelings, and not all of them are, warm and fuzzy.
Absolutely. You might feel that deep love and gratitude for sure, but alongside that, maybe a sense of duty, maybe some old resentment bubbling up, or just awkwardness.
Yeah, awkward family stuff. And for some, real grief,
Yeah.
missing someone intensely.
And the crucial thing is, you can feel multiple things at once. It's okay for feelings to seem contradictory.
Like loving your mom, but dreading the specific visit.
Exactly. You can hold both. It's human.
Mm.
And part of the pressure comes from these idealized images of motherhood society throws at us.
The perfect mom myth.
Right, like Karen Horney's idea of the tyranny of the shoulds, how mothers should be, how we should feel, and when our reality doesn't match that impossible ideal.
Guilt creeps in. For us, Feeling like we're not doing enough, or maybe for moms feeling they aren't living up to it.
Precisely. It creates this internal pressure cooker. Like you have to make the day perfect or say the exact right thing.
Oh, totally. That mix of tenderness and, yeah, pressure, gratitude, and maybe a little bit of obligation sometimes.
Exactly. Which brings up questions, right? Like, how do we genuinely honor our moms? What feels authentic?
And what if the relationship is, well, complicated? Or if your mom isn't here anymore? That adds another layer entirely.
Well, if you are a mom yourself.
Yeah.
Dealing with all the expectations society throws on you for that day, too.
Right. So that's what we want to dive into today, the whole emotional roller coaster of Mother's Day.
Yeah, the love, the appreciation, for sure. But also, let's be real about the potential for guilt, that feeling of pressure, maybe even grief.
And we're going to look at it through the lens of vibrational alignment. We'll be pulling in some ideas from Abraham Hicks.
Right. Thinking about how our own inner state, our vibration, kind of shapes these experiences and connections.
And just to be super clear, this conversation is for literally everyone.
Absolutely. Whether you are a mom, have a mom, things are tricky, you miss her like crazy, or maybe you're trying to be the kind of mom you wished you'd had.
Yeah, it's all relevant.
So when we talk about those complicated dynamics, something that often comes up is this idea of emotional enmeshment.
Okay, yeah. Let's unpack that a bit. What does that really mean?
Well, think of it like blurred lines emotionally, where it's hard to tell where your feelings and needs stop and someone else's, like maybe your mom, start.
Tangled up.
Exactly. You feel kind of tangled in their emotional world.
How did that actually, show up?
Oh, lots of ways. Maybe a parent who needs to know everything oversteps privacy constantly.
Or maybe leans on a child for emotional support they should be getting elsewhere, sharing adult problems.
Right. And then later, as an adult, maybe you struggle to feel like your own separate person because you're still so tied into the family's emotional weather system.
That makes sense. And Abraham Hicks has an interesting take on this.
They do. They talk about how sometimes people in our lives, and yeah, this can definitely include that parents might sort of need us to be a certain way.
So that they can feel okay.
Exactly. So they can feel better, which puts you in that position of always trying to please them.
Right.
Always trying to manage their feelings.
Which sounds exhausting.
It is exhausting. And days like Mother's Day can really crank up the volume on that.
How so?
Well, think about the pressure mothers feel from society. Sometimes, maybe without meaning to, they can pass that pressure on. Guilt projection, you could call it.
Okay. Like, if they're feeling stressed about expectations, they might subtly make you feel guilty if you don't meet some unspoken standard.
Precisely. Maybe expressing disappointment if you can't make it to brunch, even if you have a really valid reason. It taps right into that old feeling of obligation.
Yeah, I can see that. So the root of this enmeshment thing is carrying emotional stuff that isn't really yours.
Yeah, carrying their weight and trying to change them so you can feel better. It's this loop. And often it goes both ways in families.
So how do we, navigate this better, using those Abraham Hicks ideas?
Well, the big focus is on finding your own alignment first. Your own inner peace, your own good feeling place.
Getting yourself centered?
Right, and understanding unconditional love maybe a bit differently.
Okay. What's the key there?
It starts with being, as they put it, selfish enough to prioritize your own alignment.
Selfish enough? That sounds counterintuitive, especially with family.
I know, but think about it. If you're feeling drained, stressed, out of sorts, how can you genuinely show up for someone else in a positive way?
You can't, really. Or not effectively.
So taking care of your own vibration, your own emotional well-being, isn't actually selfish. It's foundational. It's the basis for healthier connections.
Okay, that reframes it.
And it ties into how we interact when someone is struggling. Abraham suggests that just, constantly listening to someone vent about their problems
Can actually keep them stuck there.
it can reinforce the negative vibration, yeah. Not saying don't be supportive, but dwelling only on the problem might not be the most helpful thing.
They have that example, right? About feeling left out in a family.
Exactly. If someone feels left out, that's their dominant vibe. And if everyone rushes in trying to fix the left outness by focusing on it.
It just highlights it more, keeps it active.
Right. It kind of validates the negative feeling energetically.
So what does unconditional love look like then in that Abraham Hicks view?
It's about loving the person, truly loving them, but without getting sucked into their negative state. Detaching from the condition, they'd say.
So you can love them without having to fix their feeling of being left out or their sadness or whatever it is.
Precisely. You don't have to take it on as your own problem to solve.
So real help comes from a different place.
Yeah, according to them, true help, real support, comes from you being solidly in your own alignment, your own good feeling place.
Like you can't pull someone up if you jump down into the hole with them.
That's a great way to put it. Your own well-being acts like a stronger, more positive influence, a beacon almost.
Interesting. There's also that tricky idea they mention about how some people might, like, value your suffering.
Yeah, it's a tough one. That maybe subconsciously some people equate how much you care with how much you struggle or sacrifice for them or with them.
So if you're not struggling alongside them, they might feel like you don't care as much.
It's a potential dynamic tied to older ways of thinking about love and support. It's definitely something worth shifting away from.
So let's get practical. As Mother's Day gets closer, what tools can we actually use to manage the day with more ease using these ideas?
Right. Actionable stuff. First off, just an honest emotional check-in. Before the day, maybe even a few times, just pause and ask yourself, how am I really feeling about this?
And just notice it without judging the feeling as good or bad.
Exactly. Just acknowledge it. Maybe you feel anxious, maybe excited, maybe a bit sad. Just let it be seen internally. That awareness itself is powerful.
Okay, check-in done. Then what?
Then you can gently guide your focus. Abraham talks about pre-paving. It's basically visualization with feeling.
So picturing how you want the day to go.
Yes, taking a few minutes, maybe daily leading up to it, to imagine things going smoothly. Peaceful chats, easy interactions, a general feeling of well-being. You're setting an intention energetically.
Instead of mentally rehearsing potential arguments or awkward moments.
Exactly. You're creating a different energetic blueprint in your mind. And then a big one, boundaries.
Ah, boundaries. Always tricky, especially with family.
They can be, but they're so important. Research on emotional enmeshment, where feelings get all tangled up, and it's hard to tell whose emotions are whose, really shows how vital clear boundaries are.
So deciding beforehand, maybe how long you'll stay or what topics are off limits.
Could be. Or just knowing it's okay to say no sometimes, or to take a break if you need one. And crucially, doing it without feeling overwhelmingly guilty.
That guilt piece is key, isn't it?
It really is. And that's where affirmations can come in handy. They act like little anchors for your vibration.
Like the ones we listed. I am only responsible for my own energy.
Yes. Or I choose connection over performance, meaning I don't have to put on a show.
I can love deeply without abandoning myself. That one's powerful.
Repeating those silently to yourself can really reinforce your intention to stay centered.
And you mentioned an energetic buffer. What's that?
It can be something simple. Maybe a small stone in your pocket that reminds you of your intention for peace. Or it could just be planning moments to step away.
Like excusing yourself to the bathroom for a few deep breaths.
Exactly. Or stepping outside for a minute. Just the conscious pause to disconnect from any intensity and reconnect with your own calm.
These are really useful tools for, well, for us navigating as adult children. But what about the moms? What's the guidance for them?
Yes, that's crucial too. So many mothers genuinely want to express their love, but they worry about making their kids feel pressured or guilty.
Right, like I don't want to be a burden or I don't want them to feel obligated to call.
Precisely. And here, Abraham's idea of unconditional love is key again. For the mother, it's about focusing on her own feeling of love, her own alignment with that love, rather than needing a specific response from the child.
So the mother feels her love fully and expresses it from that place.
Exactly. The advice is really about leading with your own alignment. If a mother is feeling needy or resentful, maybe take a moment to shift her energy first, find that feeling of love within herself before reaching out.
And the expression itself.
Keep it simple, pure. Something like, just thinking of you today, sending love, or I love you, without hidden hooks or expectations attached.
Just a clean expression of love and releasing the outcome.
Yes, releasing the agenda, trusting that genuine, freely given love fosters connection naturally over time without needing guilt as a motivator.
That takes trust, definitely.
It does. And importantly, also encourages mothers to celebrate themselves, to acknowledge their own mothering journey, their own energy, without needing external validation to feel good about it.
Yeah, we had some affirmations for mothers too, didn't we?
We did. Lovely ones like, my love is big enough to not demand anything in return.
I trust the love between us, even when it's quiet.
And I am the source of my own celebration. Really empowering reminders for moms to nurture their own well-being.
Okay, this feels really holistic.
The insights from people like Dr. Shefali Sabari really echo these themes. Her point about children being their own separate individuals totally supports that idea of emotional autonomy we've been discussing.
It links back to Abraham's focus on individual alignment, doesn't it?
Perfectly. And Janet Lansbury's emphasis on validating feelings, even difficult ones, that's not just for little kids. Feeling heard and validated by a parent, even as an adult, can be incredibly powerful for connection.
And Dr. Daniel Siegel talking about connection over control.
Yes, that really sums it up. Nurturing the genuine bond rather than trying to force things or manage how everyone should feel or behave.
And Brene Brown saying guilt is a poor teacher. That hits home with this topic.
Right. It frames guilt as something that gets in the way of authentic connection rather than something that helps it.
Are there specific therapeutic ways to work on this?
Oh, absolutely. Things like DBT, dialectical behavior therapy, offer really practical skills for managing intense emotions and communicating more assertively. Super helpful in tangled family dynamics.
And attachment therapy.
Attachment-based approaches can help both adult children and mothers develop more secure ways of relating, better emotional regulation, leading to healthier connections overall.
The research also mentions shifts in how we view motherhood over time.
Yes, which is encouraging. There's more recognition now of diverse family structures, a move away from that single perfect mother trope, and more awareness of intergenerational patterns and how we can consciously choose differently.
So our collective understanding is kind of expanding.
It feels like it. There's more room for complexity, more focus on the well-being and autonomy of everyone involved, mothers and children alike.
So the real leverage point is inside me, how I want to feel.
Yes. Less about controlling their feelings or their experience and more about managing your own vibration.
And for mothers themselves, the advice is similar then. Focus on their own alignment.
Very much so. Lead with your own sense of well-being, offer love freely, but without those hidden strings attached, those expectations.
Release the agenda, maybe.
Exactly, because if you're constantly focused on what's wrong, what's missing, the lack of calls, whatever it is, law of attraction says you'll just get more of that.
So you deliberately pivot your focus towards appreciation, connection, the feeling you want.
That's the work. That's the vibrational shift.
All right, this is making sense. So let's get practical. How do we translate these ideas into actual tools we can use when navigating tricky family stuff? Tool number one, I'd say, is the emotional check-in.
Before you even interact.
Absolutely. Before the phone call, before the visit, especially around something potentially charged like Mother's Day, just pause, ask yourself, what am I really feeling right now?
Is it genuine warmth? Or is there some, I don't know, dread, obligation, anxiety?
Exactly. Just naming it honestly to yourself. That awareness is the starting point for any conscious choice.
Okay, so self-honesty first. What's next?
Building on that, the next tool is shifting focus. Intentionally directing your thoughts towards things you do appreciate about the person or the relationship, even small things.
So instead of mentally rehearsing old arguments or bracing for awkwardness, you actively look for the good. You focus on a positive memory, a quality you admire, something you're grateful for. You're basically setting a positive, energetic tone before the interaction.
That feels proactive. Okay. But what if, despite that, challenging dynamics or emotions still come up? Because, they often do.
That's where boundary setting is absolutely crucial.
Okay. This is a big one for a lot of people.
It really is. And research in psychology really backs this up. The need for autonomy, for differentiation in relationships. It's healthy.
It's not selfish.
Not in a negative way. It's about emotional self-preservation. You need to be able to maintain your own sense of self, your own emotional well-being within the relationship. It captures that balance, love and self-respect together.
Yeah. So boundaries. What else?
For times when you do want to express love, like on Mother's Day, keep the communication simple and pure. Avoid long, rambling messages that might carry hidden expectations or subtle complaints. A straightforward, I love you, thinking of you today, that's it, can be incredibly powerful.
Simple, clean, no hooks.
Exactly, just pure appreciation, offered freely.
Ties back to that no strings attached idea. Okay, one more tool.
Yes, self-care and self-celebration. This is vital, especially for mothers, caregivers, anyone who tends to put others first.
You got to fill your own cup, right?
Absolutely. Nurture yourself. Don't wait for external validation to feel good or appreciated.
Yeah.
Dr. Shefali Sabari talks about children being their own persons.
Right, implying we shouldn't derive our entire self-worth from our role as parents.
Exactly. We need our own sources of joy, our own ways of celebrating ourselves.
That's huge.
Hmm.
Okay, let's focus specifically on mothers for a moment. There's often this deep desire to love their kids, to connect, but maybe also a worry about seeming needy or putting pressure on them or inadvertently making them feel guilty if they don't respond correctly. How can mothers navigate that? Love without the guilt loading.
It circles right back to that core Abraham Hicks message. Focus on your own desired feeling state first.
Get yourself aligned.
Yes, because your vibration attracts. If you're coming from a place of lack or neediness or subtle demand, that's the energy you're putting out and likely what you'll perceive coming back.
So if a mother is feeling lonely or wanting a call, the first step isn't necessarily picking up the phone.
Maybe not immediately. Maybe the first step is to do something that helps her feel better within herself, to find her own alignment, her own sense of okayness, independent of whether the call comes.
My happiness isn't dependent on this interaction, something like that.
Exactly. I just want to feel good, full stop. So lead with your own alignment. That's tip number 1.
Okay. And other tips for mothers wanting that heart-centered connection.
Keep messages simple and pure, like we just discussed. That brief, genuine, I love you, thinking of you, it lands cleanly. No heavy subtext.
Avoids triggering that sense of obligation in the receiver.
Hopefully, yes. And related to that, let go of trying to control the outcome or how they respond.
Trust the underlying love.
Trust the love. Trust that when your children feel emotionally safe, not pressured or guilted, they're actually more likely to connect authentically in their own time and way. Create a space that feels good to enter, not obligatory.
That makes sense. Create pull, not push.
And the final really important piece for mothers, celebrate yourself.
Don't wait for the flowers or the card.
Don't wait. Acknowledge your own journey. Honor yourself. Do something that makes you feel good on that day, regardless of what anyone else does or doesn't do. Consciously choose the feeling you want.
That's really empowering. Are there any, affirmations that might help mothers anchor into that?
Oh, definitely. Things like, my love is expansive enough to not need anything in return.
That's lovely.
Or, I trust the love that exists between us, even when it's quiet.
That acknowledges the connection without needing constant proof.
Exactly. And maybe the ultimate one. I am the source of my own joy and celebration.
Taking ownership. Beautiful. Okay, these are really valuable perspectives.
Yeah.
Now, to really help integrate this, especially that feeling of inner peace and setting those loving boundaries before family time, we thought we'd offer a short guided meditation.
Yes, this is called Centering in Love Before Family Time. It's designed to just gently guide you back to your center, connect with your heart energy, and establish that feeling of a safe, loving, energetic space around you. So wherever you are, just get comfortable.
Let's take a moment now, just to come back to ourselves.
To gently reconnect with the very center of your being.
Where love flows freely.
Without pressure, without any need to perform.
This is your safe space.
A place where you can feel truly grounded.
Even if things around you, family dynamics, feel complicated.
Just take a deep breath in. Right where you are.
And release it slowly, letting go of any tension.
Again, a slow, deep inhale. Filling your belly, your chest.
And a full exhale. Softening, letting go.
Maybe let your shoulders drop. Relax your jaw.
You are here now.
Yeah.
And it's okay to feel whatever you feel.
Gently close your eyes. Or just soften your gaze downward.
And imagine a soft, warm light right in the center of your chest.
This is your heart energy, radiant.
This is where your deepest love resides.
It doesn't need to prove anything.
It doesn't need to be earned.
It simply is.
With each slow, gentle breath, imagine that warm light expanding.
Growing warmer, softer, or more radiant.
Like a comforting hand on your back.
Or that quiet stillness when you feel perfectly content.
That quiet knowing that you are loved just for being you.
Gently bring to mind a family interaction.
Maybe one coming up, or one from the past that still holds some charge.
And from that warm heart space, imagine a gentle bubble of light forming all around you.
Soft, protective light. Your loving boundary.
It's gentle, but firm.
Nothing enters this space unless you choose to allow it.
Inside this bubble, you feel emotionally safe, centered.
You get to choose how much energy you share, and how much you keep for yourself.
If someone says something, that might usually trigger you.
Imagine those words, just gently floating, bumping softly against the outside of your bubble.
No need to absorb them, no need to react.
Just breathe in slowly.
And breathe out gently.
Let the bubble hold you.
Keep you peaceful.
If you identify as a mother or primary caregiver, take a moment, feel into that.
You give so much. You are also so worthy of receiving.
From your quiet heart space, whisper to yourself,
I am enough. My love is enough. I don't need anything back to feel whole.
and if you are showing up as a child, a grandchild, maybe navigating healing,
Gently remind yourself.
I choose how I show up. I honor my own feelings. I lead with love. That feels true for me.
Now just return, gently,
Oh.
to the rhythm of your breath.
Inhale love, pure, unconditional.
Exhale expectation.
Inhale peace, deep sense of peace.
Exhale tension, worry.
Feel your heart light glowing. Feel the support beneath you.
Feel the quiet strength, the safety of your own loving presence. You can come back here anytime. Before a call, before a visit.
Your wise inner self is always here, loves you deeply.
When you're ready, maybe wiggle your fingers, your toes.
And gently, softly, open your eyes if they were closed.
Taking a moment to thank yourself
Right.
for choosing your alignment, your peace.
Yes. That really is where the power lies, isn't it? That inner space.
Love in families. It feels most real when it comes from that aligned place, not from obligation.
So that's self-awareness, honoring your boundaries, really focusing on your own vibration. It's so key.
Absolutely. And remembering you can honor your family and honor yourself at the same time, guilt-free.
Yeah. Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the main thing we hope people take away as they approach Mother's Day?
I think the core message is really that you can navigate this day with more ease, more authenticity. It starts with prioritizing your own inner state, your alignment, and developing that self-awareness.
And remembering that real love doesn't need to be performative or fueled by guilt.
Exactly. It's about honoring connection, honoring your mother, honoring yourself with kindness and honesty. Would really encourage you, the listener, to reflect. What does an aligned connection actually feel like for you this Mother's Day? What feels genuine and good for your own well-being?
And maybe a final thought, drawing from Abraham. Remember, you always have the power to choose your vibration, your emotional state, regardless of what's happening externally or what family patterns might exist. Focus on cultivating that feeling of love, ease, or appreciation you desire, and let that feeling guide your experience. So maybe, as we head towards Mother's Day, a final thought for you listening. What is that aligned connection, that way of relating that feels truly good and honest? What does that feel like for you?
Good question to ponder.
Wishing everyone a very happy Mother's Day, however it looks and feels in your own life. We acknowledge all the varied experiences.
Absolutely. And if this deep dive resonated, maybe share it with someone you think might find it helpful.
And please do subscribe for more explorations like this one. Thanks for joining us today on Vibrations and Manifestations.
Until next time, stay curious, stay positive, and keep those vibrations high.
You baked a giant cookie cake, but ran out of room for day. It only said happy birth. We laughed and ate it anyway. You sang me songs about Pooh Bear, held me close when skies turned gray. I never once felt lost with you. You always knew the way. The science fair was wild and loud. My thoughts were hard to hold. You stayed up late with glue and charts and never once let go. My brother made it look so easy. Dad was gone again that week, but you stayed close and whispered soft, you've got everything you need. I always knew you loved me, even when you had your doubts. You didn't need to get it perfect to show me what life's all about. You let me be a dreamer. You stood behind the scenes. And Mom, I always knew you were stronger than you seemed. sat through choir and curtain calls, clapped loud in row 5. You never said I told you so. When teenage love took flight, you taught me how to read out loud and cheer when stories end. And every book and bedtime hug said I'm your biggest fan. You weren't trying to be perfect, you were trying to be there. And I felt it in your every move, the way you always cared. Now I'm grown and writing songs with all you've given me. Your quiet love, your brave heart are the roots beneath my feet. I always knew you loved me through every storm and doubt. You didn't need a script or plan to teach me what life's about. You let me find my voice, you helped me learn to see. And Mom, I always knew you were everything to me. So here's to you this Mother's Day, for all the things you'd never say. You were the light I always knew. Happy Mother's Day.